A warm welcome to all of you and a heartfelt namaste. I, Anuradha, would like to thank all of you for watching, sharing, subscribing to our YouTube and Spotify channels and writing in your comments and suggestions there. Today, we are with Chandrasekhar Sharma ji talking about one shloka, Akalaniya, like he says it from Jatak Parijata. Sir, a warm welcome to you.
Namaste. Thank you.
Sir, so what is the beautiful shloka that we are going to talk about today?
Now, this is a shloka which would interest many. One thing, it talks about kings of kings, yoga for becoming king of kings. And everybody wants power and wealth. I mean, king is always, you have to understand the broader perspective. Somebody who has power, who has wealth, who is supposed to administer also. I mean, in ancient time, justice was delivered by kings also. I mean, there were their amartyas, but generally king used to deliver the final justice. And here that typical idea of a planet in debility, being bad, negative, giving bad results is also, absolutely thrown to dust. And this is what astrologers should try to understand. And that is what we are going about. It talks about Jupiter. Lagne niche gruhe purandara gurau randhre sapapa grahe. So this talks about niche gruha means house of debility. If the ascendant is the house of debility, where Purandara Guru, Purandar is name of Indra, and his Guru means Jupiter.
Right.
So Guru is preceptor, so that is Jupiter. When he is placed in ascendant, which is its Guru's Rashi of debility, which means naturally Capricorn.
Right. Sir.
And Randhra, that is the 8th house, is occupied by a malefic, not necessarily a single malefic, it can be multiple malefics also, placed where in that Rashi, which is occupied by which happens to be placed in the 8th bhava and the same Navaksha. So it has to be Vargottama. And here we can understand that Rashi in 8th house will always be the Rashi which is owned by Sun, who himself is a cruel planet.
Right.
And then what happens? This person becomes king of kings. So now here all those complex things which always appear in our mind about, the malefics being bad at XYZ place and debility planets in debility being bad and all those things are thrown to dustbin by the great Vaidyanath, who has written the
shloka
text called Jatak Parijata. So Parijata is a celestial tree. So the idea is those fruits which are there, he has put them there, and it is up to you to jump and grab hold of them and then get them, eat them, and understand. That way, digest the knowledge. So, what is he saying about? It has two meanings. Sapapa graha, malefics. But Sun himself is treated as a cruel planet, and with whom a papagraha. Sun is with papagraha. So obviously it has to be Leo Rashi, Leo Navamsha, Sun placed there with malefics. It can be one malefic, it can be two malefics, it can be Sun itself as malefic. So why does this happen? Is the question that must arise in the mind of any thinking individual, including the astrologers. So there is another principle involved which we tend to forget, that Lord of negative houses, the Trikasthana, especially even the third, when that is 6, 8, and 12, if they occupy a good house and are in debility, they create a Vipreet Raj Yoga.
Yes.
A Raja Yoga which comes out suddenly because it is two negatives making one positive sort of thing. Because the basic principle is Lord of 6, 8, 12, wherever they are placed, they damage that house. Now this Lord is sitting there, and any Lord in debility also damages the house. So two negatives make one positive sort of thing. So Jupiter, who happens to be Lord of the third, these are all Dusthanas placed in the Lagna in debility is causing a Viparita Raja. So what happens to these Papagrahas? Why should they be there? Isn't it? We normally connect the Papagrahas, the malefics, with some sort of diseases,
Yes.
bodily problems, etc., etc. But we have to also remember that sun, when any planet comes with sun, he loses his strength if it is too close. But even if it is not too close, planets occupying Leo Rashi always lose their strength. This principle
Mm.
has to be understood. That is known more when people talk about that marriage muhurta, when Jupiter is posited in Leo Rashi.
Yes.
It's called
Yes. You're not supposed to. Yes.
Sihasta Guru Jupiter, because he happens to be the Karaka
Mangal.
for
All good things.
not only the husband but also of progeny, which is the ultimate aim of getting married, at least in Hindu religion. So that is how we have to understand. So all planets lose their strength. They are placed again in the eighth house. This house represents many things, and going through different scriptures, we will find that sun there, if in own house, can make a person a king. So there are two Raja Yogas operating in a very complex manner in this place. And as you can see, it can be, what can be the malefic? It can be either Saturn or Mars predominantly, especially when placed with Sun in the eighth house, they would be combust. But even if they are not combust, assuming that they are not combust, see, Mars is Saturn is also Maraka. Not only that, Saturn happens to be the Lagna Lord in the eighth house, giving an ability to delve deep into matters, different matters. This guy is aspecting the second house of wealth, Saturn, isn't it? So he gives wealth on account of the personality of the Jataka. Not only that, Sun, who is called the boss or the king or whatever, is in the eighth house. So other kings are now dominated by this guy because
Yes.
he's not. So this is how this complexity comes out, and that is from where he says he will be king of kings.
It's a very beautiful.
Ninth house is called, again, remember that ninth house, one of the names of ninth house is Prabhu. Prabhu means the king. And Karaka for ninth house is sitting in the eighth house, losing his strength. So kings lose their strength with this guy, and that Vipreet Yoga comes out, which is why they say this is Raja Dhi king of kings. We can say emperor, to talk about it in English, in which the emperor had emperors and he had many kings under him. That sort of thing is indicated here because Sun himself has got down.
Sir, so can I ask you a question here?
Certainly.
So if there is a debilitated planet, any debilitated planet sitting there on a lagna, it need not be a
No, it need not be Jupiter.
It need not be Jupiter. It can
because
be
if the Rashi changes, he will, but he has to be lord of some negative house. That
house also. Yes. And there is simultaneously in the eighth house, a negative planet, a bad, a cruel graha. We should not call planets bad.
I always call them cruel. Not papa.
So will that also have the similar
It can, but remember what is happening here again. See, Sun himself is very powerful in the eighth house because he's in own Rashi, own Namosh. All those planets, even Mars, anybody, Vargottam planets are supposed to be next to the planets.
Exaltation, yes.
But one thing one must remember, that planets, when they are very strong, they lose all their strength in 6, 8, and 12 houses. Whereas if they are weak, as you know, they can cause a Vipreet Raj Yoga. So here the planets are strong. They are Vargottam planets. They are talking about the same Rashi, same number. So that is where that small bit of hidden information, if we can say, because it is also a place where things are hidden. It also rules the forts, so forts of the kings, etc., etc. And that is why, because they are strong and sitting in the eighth house. So they lose their. You will find when Mars is in the eighth house, with it is called the Puja dosha, etc., etc.
Yes, sir.
But that person would not be very aggressive, though he should be, because Mars aspects the second house. He would sometimes speak harsh, but most of the time he would be somebody who will always be
Very decided.
pressurized by others. I would not want to speak out very harshly. So you can check that with charts that are there, and you will understand why strong Mars in exaltation in the 8th house, that marriage is not going to break. Don't worry, whatever happens. At least that guy or the girl is not going to break it, because it loses strength in the 8th house. As they gain strength when in debility, when they are strong, they naturally lose strength. It doesn't take rocket science to understand that. And Vargottam planet, as you know, is almost equal to the
exalted planet.
Exalted planet. And here they are talking about the same Rashi, same Navamsha. That Navamsha also happens to be 64th Navamsha from the Lagna. And 64th Navamsha is supposed to grant you the great emancipation and all those things, but they are not very important, as is the importance of it being extremely powerful planet. Those powerful planets sitting in the negative house create problem. We want weak planets to be there. See, Lagna Lord in debility in the 8th house, yeah, he will cause a Vipreet Raj Yoga, or in the 6th house, Lord of the so why I say this Anakalaniyam is difficult to understand is apparently it doesn't seem so. Guru is there, so he will try to protect everybody. He is a good person. He has no strength. He has no intellect. That is what we will think. But Guru is also the Dandadhikari, the one who delivers justice.
Yes.
And when you throw all those things together, that is why we at least rever Vaidyanath, because he has gone and created yoga which are really complex to understand. Till we go back to the basics and try to understand the physics. So this is it.
That's a beautiful shlok, and that's a beautiful analysis, and the breaking up, trying to understand something through the basics. So if you want to learn about the basics of Bhavarth Ratnakar and why the shloks give so difficult yet such concise and precise meaning, do write to us. We have a course on Bhavarth Ratnakar coming up with in April. So if you're interested, do let us know. WhatsApp us or directly get admitted to the course from our website. Till we meet with you again, stay safe. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Please hit the bell icon for fresh updates. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on the videos, and please subscribe to our channel.